Greetings, kindred spirits, and a happy new year. I am wishing you all so much love and abundance for 2019. And I'd like to thank you all so much for your love and support. Especially those of you that have been supporting me since I first started this journey, which was around 5 years ago. I am so happy to see our 13 star sign community growing and continuing to attract interest. It really does mean a lot to me. And I'm wondering how the Christmas holidays were for you all, because for me it was such a struggle. I was just so disorganised. I know I suggested that we rested as much as we could, but for me personally, I just didn't have the energy for it. And to be honest, I didn't care either. Normally I'm really organised, but I just instinctively knew not to fight the energy and just flow with it. But to be honest, looking at the chart for the new moon, I can see why the energies felt so dense and heavy. Anyway, we have a new moon, which is a partial solar eclipse, and will begin on the 5th of January at 20:28 in the EDT time zone, and at 1:28 on the 6th of January in the GMT time zone. The new moon will take place in Sagittarius in the true lifetime sky. Our moon and sun will be sandwiched in between two powerful planets this new moon, Saturn and Pluto. And I think Saturn's energy has been very strong. Also, the South Node is retrograding towards Pluto, and Mercury is closing in on Saturn, so it's going to be a powerful one. Saturn is all about restrictions, limitations, attachments and inhibitions. Saturn also rules corporate industries and organisations, and is all about structure and karma. But positively, it can be a great influence with regards to self-discipline, reaching realizations, and developing good organisational skills. In conjunction to the moon and sun, this could represent that realizations have occurred regarding things or situations that we have been holding on to much too tightly, which keeps us stuck in the past or inhibits us from expressing ourselves and from moving forward. In Sagittarius, this could also be regarding our way of thinking or our belief structure, basically how we see things. Pluto's energy is about elimination and exposure, so for some it could mean that you are finally able to let go of the things that are not serving your highest or best. Or circumstances could occur which are beyond your control that enforces the changes to take place. Pluto also represents the power of manifestation. So this energy can be good for manifesting meditations or meditations that entail cutting cords. I would actually highly recommend the violet light meditation. I did it the other day for the first time, and I was really quite impressed with it. The one I did was called the ultraviolet light meditation. So I don't know if it's a little bit different from the normal violet light meditation. I have got a few links that I want to try out. That was the first one. But if you would like a link to the violet light, please do reach out and I'll send it to you. Because the moon and sun are actually separating from Saturn, I would say that most of us have already started to feel the influence of this energy, probably over the last week. And, maybe all through Christmas actually. And for some, the elimination process has probably already begun as well, depending on where you're at on your path and how tightly you're holding on to things. Pluto is also about abrupt endings and sacrifice. So in conjunction to the Sun and Moon in Sagittarius, there is a warning here to not take unnecessary risks at this time, or enforce changes in the heat of the moment. But of course, if you're stuck in a situation that's way past its sell-by date, then that's a different story. Or situations where there is unhappiness and a lack of joy. Financial issues could also be a problem too at this time. This Pluto-Saturn energy will be building throughout this next year. And they will come into an exact conjunction in early 2020. And that will take place in Sagittarius too, in the true lifetime sky. So we could actually witness a prelude to that event within the next few months. But definitely the build-up to it will be quite revealing over the next year. So, we can watch out for the signs. The best way to really work with this particular Plutonian energy is to just be in a state of surrender and use Saturn's energy to maintain a balance when it comes to self-discipline. We must stay focused on our intentions, because Sagittarius loves adventure. So, we mustn't just ride off into the winds because, we're still in the shadow of 2018's energy, even though we're in 2019. And at least from what I can see, we will be in the shadow of 2018's energy at least until the end of February or the beginning of March. I think there'll be more forward movement once Mars reaches a conjunction with Uranus, and that will take place at 0 degrees in Aries. Well, I'll go into that a little bit more in a minute. 2018 was a very intense year, but this was mostly occurring on an inner level and behind the scenes, so to speak. It was also about energy upgrades, discovering our hidden gifts, and, ascensions were taking place. There was loads of portals and numerological master days as well. 2018 was an 11-2 year, and was the year of the twin flame energy, which is the rise of divine masculine and divine feminine energies. But these mostly occurred on an inner level. I think so many had such high expectations of meeting their sacred partners. And for some this was the case, but I feel personally it was about doing the inner work for the connection to take place on an inner level. But I also feel that many really did put in the inner work and have reached a fantastic level of spiritual growth. And, that was a blessing. And you can pat yourselves on the back, because what I saw and what I had researched throughout 2018 regarding the twin flame journey, I saw a lot of progress being made. And, there's a lot of thanks going out to the twin flame readers out there, because they done an amazing job. When Mars conjuncts Uranus in Aries, there will be a lot of sudden and abrupt changes taking place in our physical world. 2018 was really all about the inner manifestation, healing and growth. 2019 will be all about outer manifestations, which will create further growth, but it will also open up our eyes a lot wider. So really it's probably good that we still have a little bit of time left to prepare for the next stage of our journey. It's so important that we are in a place of balance and inner peace. Because when this particular conjunction happens, I feel that it will be a major turning point, not just in our personal lives, but also in the collective. Uranus has retrograded from Aries into Pisces in the true lifetime sky. So alongside the new moon eclipse and Uranus is trine to Mercury, I feel that for some, there will be some major shifts in consciousness taking place where many more will be awakening. This year there will still be a great need for us to keep our vibrations high, and coming to terms with things on an inner level is one thing, but when we actually start to see it play out in the collective, that is when the real test of our inner strength will begin. The South Node is also in Sagittarius and in conjunction to Pluto, which represents that we shouldn't enforce our will onto others or hold onto high expectations. It's also a sign that we need to let go of the past, or the past will catch up with us in some way. But this aspect actually can cause some powerful karmic experiences for the good or bad, so I would watch out for that. We have a grand cross, a kite and a T-square in formation this new moon. The grand cross represents repetitive cycles that need to be broken, and the aspects suggest that lessons are still being learned and overcome for some. The new moon is actually taking place on top of the kite formation, so I strongly feel that it's important that we continue to go with the flow, as more clearing needs to be done on a collective level. Especially when it comes to codependency or depression. The kite's energy is very unstable and creates extreme highs and extreme lows, which are beyond our control. And this will be especially so since Pluto is involved too and gives off the same energy. The T-square formation is quite interesting because it involves Juno in opposition to Ceres and Venus, Juno in opposition to Ceres and Venus, and both are in square to Vesta and the Black Moon Lilith. This is very feminine energy. So I feel this will play out in our relationships or partnerships in general, where there's an imbalance with regards to giving and receiving, or where one person is having to carry a heavier load of responsibility. So equality will be an issue that arises out of this aspect, especially for the feminine energy. I suggest that we burn off any excess energy by directing it into our craft or art. I would also recommend, as I said before, the violet light meditation at this time, because it's all about cutting cords and releasing things that we may either consciously or unconsciously be holding on to. That doesn't mean that we will be cutting away the things that are on our destined path, because those things that are meant to be in our lives, will remain. I still haven't got my breath back yet. What I really love about this meditation is that it helps the elimination process of things that do not serve our highest and best, whether that may be with relationships, our work, our careers, or old wounds or memories that keep us stuck in a low vibration. The aim is to move forward. I also recommend that we work on our solar plexus and heart chakras, as it is these areas that are mostly affected or will be affected over the next few weeks or maybe even months. I know my stomach, wow. Although I would still, work on balancing the other chakra points too, as they tend to become out of sync when others are being activated. So, we still have to do the full body alignment. And again, if we can, tap into the Earth Star chakra, the Soul Star chakra, and the Galactic chakra, and try and achieve an alignment with the whole lot, really, for those of us that are a little bit more advanced when it comes to chakra meditations. Those of you that aren't really, I can, again, you can reach out and I can answer any questions that you may have about it. So for this new moon, I recommend that we surround ourselves with splashes of yellow and bright green, which are colours of the solar plexus and the heart chakra. Also, yellow is an uplifting colour, which is great for helping to raise or to keep our vibrations high. Burning a yellow candle and citrus incense would be good for clarity and cleansing our minds. Also a blue candle too for spiritual enlightenment. And if you haven't done it for a while, then definitely I would recommend a sage cleanse of your environment. And also maybe burn some frankincense and myrrh afterwards, because once the environment is cleansed, if you burn the frankincense and myrrh, it will be great for attracting spiritual peace. And the affirmation I have set for this new moon is, I release all that does not serve my highest and best, to make room for all the blessings that are coming my way. So, Happy New Year, everybody. Let's hope it's a good one. So hold on to your hats. Peace and much love.